You know, when we think about our skin aging, we usually picture the obvious stuff, wrinkles, maybe a little bit of sag. But what if I told you the real reason that happens isn't just about birthdays piling up? What if it's actually a microscopic civil war happening right under the surface? Okay, let's get into this because the real science here is pretty mind-blowing.
So, picture healthy, young skin as this perfect, bustling city. The buildings, the roads, the whole infrastructure, that's all held up by a super strong, dense network of proteins. And the main one is collagen. It's the steel framework that gives your skin its strength, its structure, its bounce. Everything's humming along just as it should.
But as time goes on, the foundation of that city starts to, well, crumble. The framework gets weak, the once organized grid becomes a mess. So in this explainer, we're going to meet the microscopic bad guys responsible for this breakdown, and we're going to look at some wild new science that might just be able to stop them dead in their tracks.
All right, so let's start with the most obvious part of the whole problem. That foundation of our skin city, the collagen itself, just starts to give out.
And when I say it gives out, I mean it really, really gives out. According to research from the NIH, by the time someone's over 80, their skin is making 68% less new collagen than a young adult's. That is a massive, massive drop in production for the most important building material your skin has.
And just so we're all on the same page, collagen is basically everything. It's the protein scaffolding that gives skin its toughness and that firm, youthful feel. So when you stop making it, the whole structure gets wobbly. But why does that happen?
To figure that out, we've got to zoom in and meet the actual crew responsible for building and maintaining this collagen city. We need to take a look at the cellular workforce.
So these little guys are called fibroblasts. You can think of them as the master construction workers for your skin. Their one and only job is to pump out new collagen and keep that scaffolding in tip-top shape. And when we're young, they are amazing at their job.
But here's where things start to go wrong. These workers change a lot as we get older. A young fibroblast is spread out, it's connected to the collagen matrix, and it's just churning out tons of the new stuff. Old fibroblasts, on the other hand, they get kind of round and lazy. They disconnect from the structure they're supposed to be fixing, and their collagen production just plummets. But the story gets even weirder than that.
Yeah, it turns out it's not just about the good workers getting old and retiring. A totally new, and frankly, much more sinister population of cells starts to show up on the scene. Yep, welcome to the rise of these zombie cells.
The proper scientific name for this is cellular senescence. And here's the deal. A cell gets so damaged that it hits the brakes and stops dividing, which is good. But instead of taking itself out of the game and dying like it's supposed to, it just hangs around. It becomes a zombie, not really alive and working, but not dead either.
And what pushes a healthy fibroblast over to the dark side? Basically, a lifetime of damage. All the usual suspects, UV radiation from the sun, random DNA damage, and even just the natural shortening of our telomeres over time can all trigger this zombie-like state.
But here's the really crucial part. These zombie cells don't just sit there doing nothing. Oh no, they become actively toxic. They start spewing out this nasty chemical cocktail called SASP. Think of it like a constant stream of pollution that just poisons all the healthy skin around it.
And I mean, just look at what's in this toxic arsenal. It's got enzymes that literally chew up and destroy healthy collagen. It's filled with molecules that cause constant low-grade inflammation. And maybe worst of all, it sends out signals that can actually turn healthy neighboring cells into zombies too. So the problem actually spreads.
So this changes everything, right? If these zombie cells are the real saboteurs that are actively tearing down the city, what if you could just, get rid of them? This leads us to a whole new way of thinking about this, a strategy that does exactly that.
Enter a new class of drugs called senolytics, and they're exactly what they sound like. They're basically a high-tech cellular cleanup crew. Their whole mission is to seek and destroy these harmful zombie cells, while leaving all the healthy normal cells completely alone.
One of the most studied ones is a compound called ABT-263, and it works with surgical precision. First, it identifies the zombie cells. They have unique markers. Then, it goes in and blocks the specific survival proteins these damaged cells use to avoid dying. And once that happens, it's like pulling the plug. The zombie cell triggers its own self-destruct button, and poof, it's cleared out. Now that all sounds great on paper, but does it actually work? Well, some of the recent research is showing that we could be on the verge of a brand new era for how we think about skin health and repair.
Just take a look at this.
In a study with older mice, scientists wanted to see if clearing out zombie cells would affect how well their skin could heal. So after 24 days, in the normal untreated mice, only about 56% had fully healed. But in the group that got the senolytic drug, ABT-263, a full 80% had healed completely. By just taking out the trash, they massively boosted the skin's own ability to fix itself.
And the potential here is enormous. As the scientist himself said, think about what this could mean for older patients getting surgery, who often have a really hard time healing. Giving them a treatment beforehand to clear out these zombie cells could dramatically improve how they recover, and maybe even reduce complications. It's a huge deal.
So it all leads to this one final, fascinating question. For decades, the entire approach to skin aging has been about adding things to our skin. Creams, serums, moisturizers. But what if the real breakthrough isn't about adding something new at all, but about taking something old and toxic away? Could the future of keeping our skin healthy be less about what you put on it and more about a strategic cellular cleanup from within? Makes you think, doesn't it?